Using the free download in exchange for an email option on Beatstars is a shortcut to a lot of things. Number one, it's a shortcut to building an email list for free because you don't have to really beg people for anything. You're giving something and you're receiving something in exchange for that. But it's also a huge shortcut for advertising on Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp, because you can import that email list once it gets to a certain number and create a lookalike audience. Let's be honest, you're not gonna find these videos anywhere else. Why? Because I make them. So it would really help me out if you subscribe. If you've already subscribed, what also really helps is if you like the video and leave a comment. It's hard in the era of clickbait videos on YouTube and negativity in the producer community. And I appreciate your support. Thank you so much. Let's jump right into some gems. And I wanna talk about a tweet that we exchanged about, I don't know, a couple hours ago. Because this was actually, I've had this question prepared since I tweeted that list. So a lot of people want to know shortcuts to selling beats, and that's something that a lot of people are monetizing. You know, this is the shortcut to selling beats. Give me $500 for this and that. I'll teach you the shortcuts. Yeah. So let's breathe in, breathe out. Yeah. We're not even going to address that. Yeah. But to me, there aren't really real shortcuts for selling beats in the sense that there's just one action that you can take and you're there. I think they all take work. Yes. But I do believe there are ways to speed up the process based on what I've experienced. And I'd like to share some. I'd like for both of us to share some, and I think you're interested in doing this, but I'll go first because this is something that I talked about on my sales funnel video. So using the free download in exchange for an email option on Beatstars is a shortcut to a lot of things. Number one, it's a shortcut to building an email list for free because you don't have to really beg people for anything. You're giving something and you're receiving something in exchange for that. But it's also a huge shortcut for advertising on Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp, so forth, because you can import that email list once it gets to a certain number and create a lookalike audience with that. And basically that's a shortcut because one, you don't have to do any cold advertising. You don't have to spend time refining your audience. Two shortcuts already. And three, you don't have to spend the money doing that because you might end up advertising for a year or two just to get your advertising right. And that may be thousands of dollars. So to me, saving thousands of dollars and years of time is a shortcut. Not everyone is ready for that piece of information just because they're not there yet with, figuring out their whole business plan. But once you get there, I just like throwing that out there so that people know what their eventual end goal is for some of the actions that I recommend, like collecting emails. What's the end goal of that? Well, there are a lot of different end goals, and that's why I think to me that's one of the most powerful steps that producers can take. So I know you want to share a couple too.
Yeah. So I'm gonna just fly out a bunch of these, and then you can ask questions. If y'all want to ask questions in the chat after it pertaining to these, just let me know. So I'm gonna just go through the list because I prepared one too. So mine was the Beatstar. My shortcuts was the Beatstars playlist, the major Beatstars playlist that they have. Understanding how PROs work and how publishing works. Let me see. SMS text marketing. DJ Payne already said the email list. Finding lanes of opportunity on Beatstars. And what I mean for that is like try to find different like popular genres that you think people may have a need for. And there's a way of finding that out. But if y'all want to ask the question on that, y'all can. And the next thing is Beatstars marketplace, just in general, like the data that you find on the marketplace. So those was kind of like some of my shortcuts as far as selling beats. I'm specifically talking about the shortcuts for selling beats. Those are some of the things I think that are very underutilized in the producer community. Also, I think that Beatstars.world is one of the most underutilized things ever, and it's amazing what Beatstars. And I'm not just saying that because I know people are like, oh, he's a poster boy for Beatstars. No, I'm being real with y'all. Like that's what I use to become full time. Like I didn't use YouTube and all that other stuff. I mean, it's a part of our business, of course. But as far as educating and getting you on a path to financial success and just overall business, how to be a better human being and all that good stuff, I feel that Beatstars.world is very underutilized. So that was some of my shortcuts. So if y'all want to ask any questions about that, feel free.
Well, as I predicted, someone does want to know about the whole genre shortcut that you spoke on.
Okay, so I always, shout out to Rock 5. Me and him always talk about this. And one of the things we always say is that we got to use like a little bit of like a little bit of like, for me, I have to use a little bit of my common sense, right? So it's, for prime example, it's Christmas, right? If you go look at Beatstars top charts, the top beats are Christmas beats, right? So that should tell you that if you don't have no Christmas beats and you're good at making hip hop, trap, or pop, you can convert that to Christmas and make a whole bunch of Christmas beats. Actually, funny story, Beatstars brought this up 2 years ago in 2020 that was going to be something popping, and the people that paid attention, they did it. Unfortunately, I had a different path I was trying to go on with what I need to do before I could even go down that route. But I always made a note, right? So it's Christmas. Same thing for Halloween. There's not a lot of Halloween beats on Beatstars, right? So when they do these Beatstars playlists for Christmas and Halloween and all this other stuff, you have opportunity to shine. What was another one? Like Summertime. I killed that. That was one thing I took apart because I do a lot of pop beats, right? So when summer came around, I was in some of the Beatstars summer playlists, and I had a bunch of like different tracks show up for summer, and that's how artists found me. So that's what I mean. You got to kind of like think logically about what you're doing. And even though I'm telling you all these genres, by the time people see this, that might get filled up. So my best advice is, start studying what's prop, like for instance, Afro beats, right? Afro beats are still on the rise. I think Afro beats about to be popping. I think that drill is still something that may be underutilized. I don't make any of those beats. I just love studying the stuff. I did that when I worked in corporate media. Part of my stuff I did was look at data. So just kind of use, some of that common sense, and then pay attention to what's going on when it comes to these different genres. A lot of people got a lot of stuff on Beatstars that you wouldn't even believe. Like you won't even believe. So you have an opportunity to stick out if you do it the correct way. I mean, if someone looking for Afro beats, don't make something that don't sound like Afro beats. Be a part of the culture. You know what I'm saying? So that's just my 2 cents on the genre stuff.
So where are you looking at these data? So I know with the information that comes from Beatstars, my guess is it's coming from Mike Trampy. Shout out to him. He's using, I think, Google Trends.
Google Trends. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that's your source as well.
Yeah, it's between Google Trends and Beatstars top charts, and every now and then Beatstars will kind of give something on Instagram that shows like artists on the rise or popular genres on the rise. So what I did was I wrote it down, just like how everything come full circle, y'all. I wrote it down on my notepad, so now I can go back to my notepad and I can go look and see, oh, okay, these are some of the genres that I think I can do. Let me try to get into this while they still underutilized right now.
Another shortcut I would say is collaborating with producers on Beatstars who are also working hard, because you're theoretically doubling your chances to sell your beats. And that doesn't necessarily mean, a lot of people reach out to me and they might have like 10 beats in their catalog and 400 plays. And I have, almost 1,400 and like almost 5 million plays. So it's kind of like, I'm probably not going to collaborate unless like you're going through my collab service. And that's just being real, because it has to be a mutual benefit. But there are a lot of other people who are in that same level, who are at the same level of experience as you, that would be willing to collaborate. And I would encourage that, the horizontal networking, not necessarily shooting for the top people, because they've already paid their dues. You know what I mean?
Yes, horizontal. Yes.
Yeah. So a lot of horizontal networking, a lot of horizontal collaboration. that can pay off. I really think it can. And there are so many other benefits to collaborating too. You know, you learn something about your process, you learn something new. You know, you never know what's going to happen because you collaborate with someone and maybe I've seen that happen a lot. They're connected to somebody, they get a placement, they get a viral hit, something or other.
Yeah, I want to talk briefly about that. So, I've been networking with Rock 5 and COP Productions. Like those two guys I'm locked in with for maybe like this year and probably all of next year. But one thing I can honestly say is this is how powerful collaboration works. I was not good at making Latin pop or reggaeton beats before I met Rock 5. Rock 5 taught me a lot about how to do this. And because of him and COP, it made me be able to become part of a culture and a genre that I wasn't a part of before. And thanks to them, I actually got a bunch of my playlists. I got a bunch of my beats added to Beatstars Latin playlist, and I got reposted by Beatstars Latin. And I think that's the beautiful part of collaboration is that like you may learn something that you never learned before. Like I'm always learning something from Rock 5 when it comes to production. And same with him. Like I'm like me and him work on arrangement because one of my gifts is I'm very good with arranging with arranging my beats. I'm really good with that. And that's one of the things that I think helps me shine out from my competition. So that's how collaboration works, y'all. Thanks to this man, I've gotten sales in a whole new genre that I wouldn't have been able to get in before. And we've collaborated on some. I've worked on some by myself, but you know, that's how beautiful collaboration is. And right now we're working on a project called Legends Fist, and I'm excited about that. This man then put together a DJ Khaled album of beats, and I'm not gonna say too much about it. He's gonna talk about that on his Instagram, but I want to just tell y'all the power of collaboration. Also, another thing is too, don't just collaborate on beats, collaborate on ideas, collaborate on doing an IG live together, like build up your audience together. When DJ Payne talks about working horizontal, that means building up with the people that's building up with the same level that you are right now, right? So just don't think about beats. Think about, okay, let's really do something besides just beats. Let's do an IG live where we say we're gonna give away two beats, one from me, one from this other person. If we get a certain amount of people on the live, right? And we're gonna do a giveaway on there. That's how you do a fire collaboration, you know? So just think outside the box when you're thinking about collaboration. So I just wanted to really say that because a lot of times producers may come on here and say, yeah, I'm cooking up with this person, I'm cooking up with that person. Yeah, but what's the end game, right? You know, the beat done. Are we gonna promote it? You want to do an IG live where we kind of collaborate on what we're working on to get both of our buyers integrated with both of us. That's how you really build an audience and you know, potential opportunities in the future and stuff like that. So that's what I wanted to say about that.
And on the subject of collabs, we have a question. Would you say that when doing a collab, it's best for both producers to post that beat on both of their pages? I get this question a lot, actually. And I don't know why I get the question so much because I feel like, yeah, of course, we'd want to post it as many places as possible to increase our chances of sales. But there is this question. I think people think that it's going to create confusion or that it violates some sort of etiquette. It doesn't. Please do. That's really the whole point of collaborating on a platform.
Yeah, that's weird. I never really had I don't know. That's a weird question. Like, I guess, you know, you would want to put it up on both pages unless you're doing something with the producer where like you want to help them out and say, okay, we're exclusively releasing this on this person's page to probably help that producer get traffic if you want to really help that producer out. So, I mean, personally, I think it just depends on the conversation you want to have with that producer when it comes to that. But that was a really good question.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a question I get all the time, so it must be a good question. Back to playlists, because you talk about, you know, a big part of your marketing strategy being getting on these Beatstars placements. Are you just consistently submitting to all of their playlist opportunities?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
I can go deep into it if you want.
Yeah, please.
Yeah. So okay. So in 2020, we all know about my story, look at the other video I did with DJ Payne. But one of the things that I kind of saw was that Beatstars had a lot of playlist opportunities, and for whatever reason, it seemed like not too many people were submitting. I guess after this, a lot of people will, but I saw that as an opportunity, right? So if you ever have beat block, one of the best ideas you can do is go to beatstars.world, go to opportunities, go to the playlist opportunities, look at the ones that are closed, and it shows you all of the Beatstars playlist opportunities that they had in the past. Think about making a beat like that. Congratulations, you have gotten through beat block. I know it might be a little bit too simple like that, but that's what I did. I literally, when I didn't know what to make, I would go look at the Beatstars playlist opportunities. I would go study the artists because I'm telling you, if you don't send the right stuff to Beatstars playlist, just make sure y'all submitting the right stuff, man. Because if you listen to between 2020 and now, whenever like Chris or at the time it was Tia would go on live, they would always say, don't be sending no trap beats to Afro beats. And the fact that they had to say it more than once mean that people were still doing it. You're not gonna get playlisted. That's not how that works. And I'm not a playlister, but in my experience, you go listen to the artist. Like I'm in BTS playlist. I'm in Blackpink. I'm in K-pop. Why? Because I actually listen to K-pop, and I actually did the beat that resembles that in my own way. And because of that, I got on the playlist. And I figured, like, man, this might be a good way to get a lot of coverage and a lot of extra promotion and eyes on me. So like now I'm in about like maybe 10, 15 different Beatstars playlists. But the cool thing about it is that that's free promotion, y'all. They promote these playlists everywhere. So why would so it baffles me, you know what I'm saying? So that's what I did. I looked at everything, and I might not submit to everything, but I try to. Like I don't submit to any of the drill stuff because I don't make drill. But anything else that kind of comes my way, I'll at least give it a try, right? And I'll submit. And sometimes I make it, sometimes I don't. But you won't know if you never take that shot. You know what I'm saying? So that's how I kind of got a lot of sales. I got a lot of plays on my beats and stuff like that. So, you know, that's one of the things I did. So that's kind of like, I don't really know if there's not too much else to say. I just studied every week. I check what opportunities they got. That's the type of beats I'm working on. Done.
So way back, you posted your traffic referrals, and you said you're getting beat sales from platforms you're not paying for advertising on.
Mm-hmm.
What are some platforms that surprised you as unexpected sources of sales?
That's a good question. To be honest, I really don't use YouTube, and it's not one of my main sources. So I was actually shocked that I actually got a few sales from YouTube here and there. A platform called Lum. I don't even think this platform is even existing anymore. But Lum, for me, to me, this is normal, but for a lot of other people, this might be a surprise. Twitter is like my number one platform that I use, period, that I get beat sales from. Reddit was one of them I got a sell from. Audio Mac. So basically what happens, y'all, when you do this SEO stuff that we talked about in the last video, when you put your beats up everywhere, it's not gonna, I think a lot of times we think, and I thought the same thing too. If 2 months pass and we've been posting every day on these platforms that we're going to get the sales, it may happen. It may not happen. So for me, everything that I did in 2020 is now starting to come around. So I'm getting sales here and there from SoundCloud, sales here and there from Audio Mac. I'm actually monetizing it on Audio Mac in a few different ways now. So these different platforms like Reddit, Facebook groups, so Google Analytics tells you all of this stuff. So for me, that was kind of like the Twitter thing wasn't a shocker for me, but I know it would be a shocker for y'all because most people use YouTube. So a lot of these platforms are like, I'll get a sale here and there, and then it just adds up to my overall sales. And I don't even post a lot on Audio Mac or SoundCloud no more because I have so much inventory now that it's just like I'll post like maybe once a month, you know, here and there.
Got it. Someone, and I don't know the answer to this, is there a way to find out if a sale was related to a playlist ad?
From BeatStars?
Yeah.
Yeah, you ask the person. That's
Okay,
all.
that's fair.
That's that. This once again, I love y'all, man. I had to use my common sense, so I had that same problem, and so I was just wondering, like, okay, how can I figure this out? And it just hit me. Just ask the person. If someone buys a beat, and that's the part that me and Payne be talking about, like when someone buys your beat, you gotta have what I call the tough conversation. And the tough conversation is talking to this person saying, hey, even if you got your autoresponder up and you respond or whatever, it's still a person to reach out and say, hey, look, um, I'm curious, man, how did you discover my beat? Was it on, because if it says Beatstars Marketplace, it's sold off the Beatstars Marketplace. So you could say, hey, how did you find my beat on Beatstars? I'm really curious. In return, I'll be willing to give you a discount, or I'll be willing to give you like a free untagged beat if you let me ask you a few questions about how you discovered my tracks. And from there, that's how I got a lot of data for what works for me for when I sell beats on the BeatStars marketplace, and just not sell beats in general. But that's how you find out if you got to sell from a BeatStars playlist. Just ask the person that brought your beat, and there you have it.
All right. Speaking of the BeatStars marketplace, you recently you tweeted about a bunch of myths, and now I'm getting my questions mixed up. But I want to talk about the other myths that you've busted about beat selling.
Oh, pull them up.
Well, I got all of them here. It's just that you specifically tweeted, I sold a $1,000 beat this weekend on BeatStars. I was discovered on the marketplace. I busted another myth. BeatStars don't have quality artist traffic. And I'm confused as to why that was even a myth. That confuses me, because like I personally don't argue this anymore because it's silly, but there's a contingent, there was back when I was engaging, a contingent of producers who swear that creating your own website is the way to go to sell beats. Don't be on BeatStars because you can just create your own. Of course you can do that.
Yeah.
But the marketplace on BeatStars is searchable. It's a YouTube, it's a Google, it's the number one. I guess I shouldn't say, I don't know. My guess is it's the number one source for beat leases online. And so it's a source of discovery. Just like people search on YouTube for new music and discover new music on YouTube, people are searching BeatStars to discover new producers. That's been your experience, would you say?
Yes, my experience has been. Let me tell y'all something, man. Let's talk about this for a couple of minutes. So, all right, I because the reason why I said is because for a long time everybody was saying that BeatStars marketplace traffic was like trash. They got robots. They don't like. I'm gonna put it out there. Y'all know I be on this controversy. So sometimes people were saying that BeatStars had bots. They had more producers than artists. All kind of crazy stuff. And it was like I said I just let it breathe for a while, right? And so this time I was like, you know what? I'm gonna let it breathe because I recently saw someone. I ain't even gonna give that person energy, but I saw someone say something like that, and I was like, well, let me make this post and shine on everyone real quick to give hope to people and let them know that they do have quality artists on BeatStars that's willing to pay quality money for a quality product. And a lot of times we may get discouraged and we may say things like that about the BeatStars marketplace. But y'all, I'm telling you, like right now, BeatStars marketplace is legit a whole nother revenue source that I even have. Like I get sales from my pro page and stuff, but legit another one of my like major stuff and sales is from the BeatStars marketplace. And on top of that, the beat, and another thing is too, they say that only people that come to BeatStars only looking for trap beats. That's not true. You want to know why? Because the beat that was purchased from me was a pop piano ballad. Because I'm very good at making pop piano ballads. Plug, if any artists want custom pop piano ballad beats, I'm that guy. But that was the beat that was purchased for $1,000. It wasn't a trap beat. So once again, that's another myth. People only trying to pay $1,000 for trap beats. Nah, bro. They buying. My catalog is maybe 5%, literally 5% trap. The reason why it's 5% is because those are the beats I'm making for BeatStars playlist to try to get on there. So I just want to just pew all these myths out because like it's I don't want to say discouraging, but to any producer, and if you do trap, that's beautiful. That's beautiful. I want you to get your money, right? But for those who are like discouraged, don't be. There's people in there looking for K-pop. There's people in there looking for disco. There's people looking for Christmas, Halloween, just all types of tracks. And I really want to be the voice and have the opportunity to talk on this platform to really say that because I feel like that's not getting said, and someone needs to say it, you know. And I also like the fact that Beatstars understands this. Like they're not just promoting trap beats; they're promoting Sam Smith, Dua Lipa. That's why I love this platform so much. Because like I'm not going to talk about other platforms, but I love the fact that Beatstars are always trying to promote like diversity in the producers that's on the platform. Like whether they do pop, K-pop, and Pan, you done had a bunch of them. That's how I learned a lot. I learned a lot from watching these live. So I feel like all these myths, for everything that someone's gonna say, I got something I want to say about it because I went through this experience. I can actually talk about it. It's verified. That's why I shared the picture because everybody like it ain't real if you don't share the picture. Okay, I might have another $1,000 beat with this person too. So yeah. So I just want to talk. I just want to really dive into that particular myth, man. Because yeah.
This is one of the stupidest conversations I've ever gotten into. And you know, when someone says something this egregiously stupid to me, there's always some harm in it. This is going to sound mean. A lot of the producers that aren't selling beats either aren't ready to sell beats or they're just not going about everything correctly. Right. And it's hard to know that you're not going about everything correctly because you're there. You don't know what other people are going through. Like when I first got on Beatstars, it seemed like some of these producers just had it easy. They were just selling beats in their sleep. And I didn't know the groundwork they had to do to get to that point. And I didn't even know for a fact that they actually were selling beats in their sleep. A lot of them are just eating, living, and breathing this. And so it's easy to be on the outside looking in and create these myths in your head. And so the dumbest thing someone said was like, because I tweeted out, you know, rappers don't just want to buy trap beats. And someone challenged me. They're like, I bet your number one selling beat is a trap beat. My number one selling beat, my number 2, 3, 4, and 5, none of them are trap beats.
Right. Mine too. Mine as well.
So it's just one of those things where it's like, why are so many people trying to speak on something they don't have the experience to speak on rather than listen to the people who do have the experience? It's so much more beneficial to ask a question than just throw an assertion out there. Like if I think trap beats sell, I could go out there and ask, hey, what kinds of beats do you find are selling for you? Rather than saying trap beats are the only thing that's selling. Anyone who disagrees is an idiot, and I'm going to argue with them online. It's not helpful to anybody. Right. But a lot of what I find, and I think you're equally as frustrated because you're in that space too, where a lot of the people spreading these myths and discouraging other people, they're all at the same level. Like it's never a top seller saying, here's what I learned about selling beats. Right. Here are all the myths. The top sellers don't have myths. They have wisdom.
Right.
The people who have no experience have the myths. So I'm sorry, I'm on my soapbox right now.
Anyone watching this, y'all, I promise you, I didn't know nothing when I first started. I really didn't. Like I just really committed to learning as much as I could because at one point I'm gonna be full transparency. At one point I was like, I thought the same thing. But that goes to show you that once you educate yourself and you start realizing like, oh man, I was actually, you know, be human about it. I was wrong. You know what I'm saying? I call a spade a spade. I was wrong. But when I first started years back, that's what I thought. And as I went through my journey, I started learning that, man, there's so much diversity on Beatstars. There's so many amazing producers and amazing artists that do everything. Whether you make trap beats or whether you make R&B and pop, it's beautiful. You know what I'm saying? So I don't want to discourage any trap producers or anything like that with what I'm saying. But this is me speaking towards the producers who feel like it's only like that. So I was once like that too, but y'all, please believe me, there's a lot of people looking for stuff besides trap, and there are people that's looking a lot for trap too. So I think it's room for everybody. I think it's one of the things to where like they thought you think everyone is in the room wants trap beats, but then you realize, oh man, it's a lot of people in the room that wants a little bit of everything, and there's room for everybody, you know. So I feel that there's a lot of diversity on the platform, and you know, I like the fact that Beatstars promotes that, and I'm pretty sure they're gonna stick with doing that. So yeah, I'm always preaching diversity in music because it's very much needed.
Yeah, because like I'm just even thinking about the top sellers, and yeah, there's someone like Oh Boy, right, who's a top selling trap producer, and granted his beats sound amazing, but then to answer to him, you got a Dilly got a bumping, and for like every Angel La Ciencia, you have a a mantra, you know. They're all top sellers. They're all winning, and they are very different styles of production.
And you know what your question was? I'm about to say another statement because I wanted to say something else.
I was going to move on to the next question, but go ahead and say it.
I just want to say that speaking of naming all these producers, y'all, one thing I did was I know sometimes as producers we try to like not all of us, but sometimes you might try to copy price points or copy like the exact type of beat, and then you wonder why you're still not selling. And the whole point of this is, and the reason why I try to do these lives is to educate y'all on how to do something so you can kind of do it on your own terms. Because I do know a lot. I've had producers reach out to me. I love y'all, but if you complain that I made the exact beat you make in the same price points, I'm still not selling. The reason why is because if you make something like DJ Payne or like Cloud9 Music or like any other producer, why would the artist go to you and they can just go to that producer, right? So take these ideas and use them for your own, right? I actually looked at Mantra. I looked at Contrabands because I wanted to do pop. I looked at every producer that he just said. I looked at them literally for a whole year, every now and then to figure out, okay, I don't want to copy that style of their beats. I don't want to even copy their price points. I want to understand what is going on. And a lot of stuff I could kind of see just by looking. I don't have to ask no one no questions. I'm like, okay, the quality is better. The mix is really good. You know, the arrangement is good. Oh, this person might have some really good hooks. Maybe I make a lot of beats with hooks now. It has my voice on it. I might not have the best voice in the world, but my beats with hooks sell because what I'm saying means something, right? So if you look at a lot of people that sell beats with hooks, the hooks are meaningful or they're catchy. So these are things I kind of learned. I didn't try to make a DJ Payne one beat with a hook. I made a Cloud9 beat with what I feel on what my topic is, and I made it my own with my own voice. So I just want to I really want to say that on this live too. So my best advice is don't copy people price points and don't copy people's sounds. Understand these simple things like the mix. Is this a certain key? What's the key of the beat? It might be a popular key. People might like C major, G major. These are things that I looked at when it came to me helping me get better. So I just want to put that out there too. I'm sorry, Payne. You can go with the next question.
I was going to ask about YouTube, but you already kind of answered it. You spoke on YouTube being really not a priority for you. Why is YouTube not a priority for you?
Okay. For me, okay. So prior to 2020, I know a lot of people now seeing me on Beatstars like, man, this dude done blew up. But what y'all don't know is I worked in media, corporate media for like 10 years, right? So I was extremely died down on time. We talked about me working in radio in the last interview. But for me, I didn't have enough time to be just putting stuff up on YouTube, right? So what I did was at the time I was going to either Twitter or even Facebook, and I would like find artists and I would just have conversations with them. And I wanted to build, to me, it was like, if I can get 10 people to pay this amount of money and keep on doing it, and I'm making a good product, I can keep increasing that and add them to my email list. And that's what I did. I didn't want it. I didn't have enough time to understand how YouTube worked. I didn't have enough time to understand how thumbnails work. I didn't have no time for all of that. Like, I think that's one of the things that we all need to think about as producers is the time that it takes to do these things. For me, right, if it takes you, however, let's say it takes you like 2 hours or 3 hours to make the video, put up on YouTube, find the keywords, all of that hoopla, right? By the time it took you to do that in 3 hours, I done contacted a bunch of artists on IG, and more than likely probably got some sales coming from that. So what you did in 3 hours, you haven't even had a conversation yet. So for me, when I would get off from work, I wasn't trying to dedicate 3 hours to figuring all this stuff out with YouTube. I wanted to go find the source. So that's what I did. I went to go find the source. So I did that for a long time, and I just stopped using YouTube. I only just started using YouTube, and I did that because I also wanted to prove a point that you can get sales from YouTube if you don't have a lot of subscribers and views. That was another myth they had out there, that you can't get sales from YouTube if you don't have subscribers or views. I've proved that wrong. I think the first month, or maybe the last 6 months, I think I did maybe under, full transparency, probably under $1,000 on YouTube. And if you go to my YouTube channel, I'm literally just playing around with stuff. I think the most important thing is not being afraid to target artists that you might find that no one is looking for. Like, I have all kinds of different, I'm about to put up a rock beat, like Lenny Kravitz rock type beat, just because I want to. I don't care. Like, I'm having fun, man. I think a lot of times, just have fun. Just have fun and think about the time it takes to do all of these things.
I was going to ask too, something I noticed about your YouTube channel is that you focus a lot on women musicians. Is that just part of your strategies? That just that those are the artists that you listen to? What's the reason for that?
Okay, so my reason for that is over the years I've worked with a lot of female artists, and I've learned a lot of what they go through, and I wanted to be able to kind of be a producer that can kind of provide that, because a lot of times female artists might hit up a producer, and unfortunately it's a bad experience. And for me, I listen to a lot of female rap. I listen to a lot of female artists, more than male. I'm listening right now. I'm listening to her. I'm about to listen to Jasmine Sullivan. So most of the stuff I listen to is female dominated. So I want to be able to provide that. You know, I do a lot of ballads. Granted, there's a lot of male artists that do ballads, but the artists I'm listening to that mostly do ballads, like Demi Lovato, Adele, stuff like that. So it's not really it's not like, I wouldn't say it's a strategy for the most part. I just want to let the female audience know, like, hey, I'm here. If you need these type of tracks, I do listen to these artists that I'm putting up, like Rico Nasty and all of those. And if you want to network with me, I'm approachable. I'm not going to try to do no slimy stuff or whatever, because I don't even want to get into that. But that was one of the things I did. Yeah.
It's something we should get into, honestly.
I know, right?
Who was it that? God, I wish it was someone tweeted, normalize not being a creep and making women uncomfortable in studio sessions, or something to that effect. And I'm sure it's been said before, and it'll continue to be said, but it's something that definitely needs to be said over and over. And I get uncomfortable in studio sessions if there are a bunch of men in the room and a woman comes in. It's like, fuck, here we go, because I know what it's going to be like.
And if you're a producer, and I'm gonna just give you advice, because I'm extremely grateful to the female artists I've worked with. Like, I've gotten TV placements, I've gotten major opportunities with different brands because I've worked on incredible songs with a lot of female artists, and they're independent, they're doing their thing. And if whenever you talking to a female artist, just be human. Let them know straight up, like, hey, look, I want to make sure this conversation is as comfortable as possible. For me, I always say I worked with female artists in the past. Here's my credits. At any time, just let me know. I want to make sure that this conversation is as comfortable as possible. So I always let them know that. Don't call a woman bro, y'all. Stop that too. It's 2021. We shouldn't be doing that. You know, and just be human. Cause like for me, a lot of artists I like to work with or I hit up are female artists. So I have to make sure that they know that I'm a human being first. I'm a good human being first off. I'm not trying to do no slimy stuff or try to like disrespect you or get in your pants. I just want you to know that I have this quality product and I listen to the music and I like it and I would like to work with you. And a lot of times I get to work with a lot of female artists that make some incredible music that's working on a lot of different projects and I'm grateful for that. So that's kind of like what I learned over the years. Like, you know, and it was hard at first because I didn't know how I can build that trust factor with female artists because it's you know it's a little bit hard because they don't know like, man, he seemed nice now, but you know what might happen. So I think just try to be as professional as possible when you're working with female artists, and they'll convey and they'll understand that, you know.
Isn't that crazy that we have to say that though? Because we don't have to say like male producers don't have to be reminded to behave professionally when they're working with male rappers anyway. So Bufo's about to cry. I'm sorry, I didn't see the question. I guess he wants to ask you about Facebook ads.
Okay.
I guess I don't know what's your experience with Facebook ads?
Okay, so full disclosure, I don't use paid advertising, y'all. The only paid advertising I use is Beatstars promo. That's it. So I don't use Facebook ads. I'm not knocking Facebook ads. For me personally, I just don't do them. Me personally, I've done it before. I've done the YouTube ads. I've done Facebook ads. I even did Twitter ads at one point and Instagram ads. At one point, probably around like maybe 2018, 2017, I was making a good amount of money from Facebook ads, and then slowly it kind of stopped for whatever reason. Probably because Facebook had a lot of updates and stuff. But I've seen that I put the same amount of money I might put into Facebook ads. I use that in Beatstars promo, and I usually my track record right now. Anytime I put money in Beatstars promo, I usually get I either break even or I make profit. I never lose. I'm either even or I make profit. So it's one of the things that if it's not broke, then don't fix it or something like that. It's saying. So if I'm doing it and it's working, I'm gonna just keep doing it. But I can tell you this: if you are on Facebook, I'm gonna give you another gem. Use Facebook groups, right? If you run in Facebook Pixel, use Facebook groups, post a really good blog post or something of value that links to your pro page. That traffic from that Facebook group will go to your pro page. Now you have that information in your pro page. So now when you run ads, you can swing it back if those people join your emails. I think that's more because I didn't have money when I first did this, y'all. I really didn't. And I just don't pay money for promo except for BeatStars. But I did everything free, and that's how I know it works. How? Because I did it, right? So there's a lot of Facebook groups. They got like 100, like literally I'm in Facebook groups that got maybe like 100,000 people in it. All you got to do is type in rappers or musicians or music marketing promotion, and all these groups will come up. You join them, introduce yourself, do something of value at least once a week, get that traffic to your website, and that's how you would bring that traffic in, right? So I think that's like a really good gem if you don't have money to do Facebook ads, because I really don't want y'all losing money. So me personally, I'm not gonna sit up here and be like, yeah, you should, because Pain, I know you do too, and I know you and I know BeatStars have really good tutorials on it. So if it works for y'all, keep doing it. That's the point I'm making. If it works, keep doing it. At least I would say at least try it first, so you can have an opinion on it. So I don't want to say don't do it, but if at least try it out and see if it works. If you want to run Facebook ads.
So here's a question then, because you did mention that you do use BeatStars ads. What promo do you find the most effective?
All three. I've at one point I thought it was the profile, but now I kind of got my little magic with it. So my best advice I can tell anyone is, if you running promo, make sure the beat is very, very, very specific. I learned over time that, at least for me, I was noticing when I compared. Now that I make money, I get the BeatStars promo works because once again, the artist lets me know. Not all of them reply back, but majority of them do, and they'll let me know that they saw it on the front page of BeatStars, or they saw like the ad somewhere or something like that, right? So that lets me know. But if you're gonna do a beat, and if it's, let's do Drake, because I know a lot of people do Drake. If you do Drake, what I would have did was do like Drake certified Lover Boy type beat, or do Drake 40, because we know 40 is a producer. You already know what that sound is like. Or, do Drake R&B type beat and run a promo for that. So that way people already know what it is, right? So make sure that it's very specific. Like if you're doing drill, what type of artist it is. And I think that was one of the keys. If you're running an album of beats, be very specific about what this album is. Just don't call it hip hop beats, because they're just not going to click on it, right? And if you do a profile, for the love, y'all, please respond to y'all notifications, because when these people are following you from your profile, as soon as you see that person follow you, reply back, because that means they're active on the platform, and more likely you can get a conversation started. So I use all three. All three have been effective for me. It just depends on what I want to do at that time and at that moment.